My name is Chloe, and 20 years ago, my parents abandoned me on the side of a dusty road in Texas, like I was something they accidentally forgot to throw away. Today, I own one of the largest tech investment companies in Manhattan. Funny how life works, because last month, the same parents who left me with nothing walked into my office begging for mercy. And they had absolutely no idea who I was. But before I tell you what happened in that room, you need to understand something. People always say family is forever. That blood matters. That parents love all their children equally. Whoever said that, clearly never met mine. Because in my house, love had conditions. And I failed every single one of them. My older sister Sarah, she was perfect, at least according to my parents. Straight blonde hair, perfect grades, captain of the cheerleading team. The kind of girl who smiled in family photos like she already knew the world belonged to her. And me, I was just Chloe, the awkward daughter who liked computers more than parties. The quiet kid who spent weekends teaching herself coding while everyone else acted like I was invisible. My mother used to say, "Why can't you be more like Sarah?" At first, it hurt. Then eventually, it became background noise. But what happened on my 18th birthday? That changed everything. Because that was the day I learned something terrifying. I wasn't unwanted by accident. I was unwanted on purpose. And trust me, the worst part wasn't being abandoned. The worst part was why they did it. I grew up in Austin, Texas. Small suburban house, white fence, picture perfect from the outside. But inside, it was a competition I never signed up for. Every dinner felt like an award ceremony for Sarah. Sarah got accepted into another honors program. Sarah's cheer squad won regionals. Sarah this, Sarah that. Meanwhile, I could literally disappear from the table. And nobody would notice. One time, when I was 16, I built a website for a local bakery. They paid me $800. It was the first money I ever made. I remember running into the kitchen excited. Mom, Dad, look, someone actually paid me for coding. My dad barely looked up from the TV. That computer stuff isn't a real career, Chloe. Then Sarah walked downstairs, wearing her cheer uniform. Suddenly everyone cared again. My mom gasped, "Look how beautiful you are." And just like that, the moment disappeared. Again. I stopped trying after that. Stopped chasing approval. Stopped hoping they'd notice me. Because deep down, I already knew. Sarah was the daughter they wanted. I was just the extra responsibility they tolerated. But even then, I never imagined what was coming. My 18th birthday came on a Thursday. No balloons, no party, no gifts, just a grocery store cake sitting on the kitchen counter. I remember thinking, maybe this year will be different. Maybe turning 18 meant they'd finally see me. Maybe adulthood meant respect. I was stupid. Because halfway through dinner, my dad cleared his throat, the same way people do before saying something uncomfortable. "We have news." Sarah smiled instantly, like she already knew. My mom practically glowed. "We're moving to Florida." I blinked. "What?" "Sarah got into college there," my mother said proudly. "This is a fresh start for our family." Our family, something about that wording felt strange. So I laughed awkwardly. "Okay, when do we move?" And then, silence. My dad looked annoyed, like I had asked something ridiculous. "Not we," he said. "Us." I stared at him. "I don't understand." He sighed. Actually sighed, like I was making life difficult for him. "Chloe, you're 18 now. You're an adult, figure it out." I genuinely thought he was joking. I laughed. Nobody else did. That's when I realized they were serious. "Wait, you're leaving me." My mom crossed her arms. "Don't be dramatic. We're giving you independence." Independence, funny word for abandonment. But where am I supposed to go? No answer. What about school? Nothing. What about my room? And then my dad said the sentence I never forgot. Not once, not in 20 years. "Sarah needs us more than you do." That sentence broke something inside me. Not cracked, not damaged, broken, completely. Because suddenly, everything made sense. Why I always felt invisible. Why nobody remembered my birthdays. Why every achievement felt ignored. I wasn't imagining it. I was never truly part of the family. And somehow, that realization hurt worse than being left behind. 3 weeks later, they packed everything. Furniture, photos, memories, even the dog. Yeah, they took the dog. I wish I was joking. On their final morning, they handed me an envelope. Inside, $200, and a handwritten note. "Good luck, Chloe." That was it. No hugs, no tears, no apology, nothing. I stood outside holding one suitcase, while my mother adjusted Sarah's hair in the passenger mirror. like they were heading to Disneyland instead of abandoning their daughter. Before getting into the car, I asked one last question. Did you ever even love me? My mom looked uncomfortable. My dad looked irritated. But Sarah, she just looked away. And my father finally said, "Stop making this harder than it needs to be." Then they drove away. And I stood there watching the dust settle behind their car. Completely alone. No family. No money. No plan. Just $200. And 18 years of rejection. But what nobody knew back then was that abandonment would become the biggest mistake they ever made, because the girl they left behind, she was about to become someone they'd never see coming. My parents left me for my perfect sister, so I bought their entire future that first night. I slept at a bus station, not because I wanted to, because I had nowhere else to go. $200 disappears fast when you realize rent exists, food exists, bills exist, and apparently, parents who abandon you don't magically come back. 4 weeks. I bounced between cheap motels, shelters, and friends' couches. Though friends might be generous, most people disappear when life gets inconvenient. I learned that quickly. Sometimes dinner was instant noodles. Sometimes dinner was nothing. I remember sitting in a laundromat one night, crying quietly, because I had exactly $6 left. And for the first time in my life, I actually wondered if my parents were right. Maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe I really was the failure they always believed I'd become. But then something happened. Something small. Something stupid. Something that changed everything. I looked down at my old laptop. Cracked screen. Battery barely worked. And I thought, no. If nobody was coming to save me, then I'd save myself. I got 3 jobs. Morning waitress. Afternoon grocery stocker. Nighttime customer support. Sometimes I slept 3 hours. Sometimes none. But every spare second, I learned. Coding. Business. Marketing. Investment. Anything I could get my hands on. People called me obsessed. Maybe I was. But when you've spent your whole life unwanted, you become addicted to proving people wrong. Especially the people who hurt you. And trust me, I thought about my parents every single day. Not because I missed them, because I remembered. Every ignored birthday. Every comparison. Every moment I felt invisible. That pain, it became fuel. While Sarah was probably partying in Florida, I was building something. Quietly. Patiently, angrily, and eventually, opportunity knocked. At 23, I built a software tool for small businesses. Simple idea. Affordable systems for companies too small to afford expensive tech. Nobody believed in it. Investors laughed. One guy literally told me, "You don't look like a CEO." Funny, people love judging success before it happens. So I stopped asking permission. I coded day and night. Worked from coffee shops. Lived off cheap sandwiches. And after 2 years, something insane happened. One company signed up, then 10, then 100. Suddenly, we exploded. By 28, my startup was worth over $500 million. I bought a penthouse in Manhattan, built an empire, changed my last name, and buried the girl named Chloe Matthews forever. Because Chloe Matthews was abandoned. But Chloe Bennett, she was unstoppable. And for 10 years, my family never called, never apologized, never cared. Until one random Tuesday morning, when fate finally decided to make things interesting, because sitting in my inbox was a business report with 2 names I never expected to see again. My parents. And what I learned next almost made me laugh. I stared at the screen for a full minute, because there they were. My parents, older, broke, and apparently desperate. Turns out, after moving to Florida, life hadn't exactly gone the way they planned. Sarah, the golden child, the family investment, the daughter worth sacrificing everything for, had tried becoming an influencer. Fashion content, luxury lifestyle videos, motivational posts, you know the type. The problem? Nobody watched, but my parents kept funding her anyway. New car, designer bags, luxury apartment, failed business ideas. Again, and again, and again, until eventually, they ran out of money. And then, they did something even worse. They gambled everything on a small real estate company. Their fresh start, their retirement plan. And now, it was collapsing. Bankruptcy, debt, foreclosure notices, their house, about to be taken. And that's when I noticed something interesting. Their debt package was for sale. I leaned back in my chair, smiled, and whispered something I never thought I'd say. Looks like karma finally learned my address. So I bought it, all of it, every loan, every unpaid balance, every piece of their future. And then, I scheduled a meeting. They arrived exactly at 10 a.m. I watched through the security camera. And honestly, I almost didn't recognize them. Life had been rough. My dad looked tired. My mom looked nervous, older, smaller somehow, and Sarah, she looked annoyed, still entitled, still expecting someone else to fix things. My assistant escorted them into the conference room. I stayed turned around in my chair, staring out at Manhattan. Silent, letting them sweat. Finally, my mother spoke. Please, we really need help. Her voice cracked. We'll lose everything. My dad added. We just need more time. I almost laughed. Time, funny. I had begged for time too. At 18, standing outside our house, completely alone. And what did they give me? $200. And silence. My mother kept talking. We heard the CEO here is compassionate. Please, we're good people. Good people. That one almost got me. Slowly, I stood up, adjusted my jacket, and turned around. The room went silent. My mom's face turned pale. My father froze. Sarah blinked twice, like her brain refused to process what she was seeing. See, Chloe. For a second. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Then my mother started crying. Actual tears. Oh my God. Sweetheart, sweetheart. Interesting choice of word after 10 years. I looked directly at my father, and calmly said the sentence I had replayed in my head for 2 decades. I'm sorry, but you're adults now. I paused, looked him dead in the eyes, and smiled. Figure it out. Silence, pure silence, the kind so heavy it feels physical. My father looked like someone punched him in the chest. My mother broke down crying. And Sarah, for the first time in her life, she had nothing to say. Now, you're probably wondering, did I forgive them? Did I save the house? Did we become one big happy family? No, but I didn't destroy them either, because revenge, real revenge, isn't screaming, or cruelty, or becoming the monster that hurt you. I took the house, legally, completely, and turned it into a shelter for homeless teenagers, kids abandoned by people who were supposed to love them. Because unlike my parents, I knew exactly what it felt like to have nowhere to go. Last I heard, my parents moved into a small apartment. Sarah finally got a normal job. And me. I sleep just fine at night, because the greatest revenge wasn't taking their future. It was building mine. Without them. So if you're watching this while feeling rejected, forgotten, like someone underestimated you, remember this, your past doesn't decide your future. You do. If you enjoyed today's story, don't forget to hit that like button, it really helps the channel grow. And subscribe for more powerful revenge stories every week, because sometimes, the best comeback story starts with heartbreak.